and timelines included in that bill. Sharing expertise.
Thank you so much. Giovanni Abadi.
Hi, I would like to represent you as the MP for Windsor Tecumseh. I believe my well-balanced formal education combined with a broad range of employment experience in numerous industries have highlighted my understanding and belief that a prosperous economy and a healthy environment support each other. I have a BA in Geography from the University of Windsor and a Cartographic Technician Certificate from Sir Sandra Comey College. I spent 10 years at the Fourth Region Conservation Authority as a mapping technician and a watershed planner. I was part of their flood forecasting response team, and I identified environmentally sensitive and hazardous lands which are now protected from potential development and under provincial legislation. Both of these positions, my mapping knowledge in climatology and shoreline studies, I received at university would prove beneficial when dealing with our infrastructure needs. I've also worked in waste management and understand the struggles of underemployed, having worked in many minimum wage jobs. I believe my occupations have prepared me to be a strong MP advocating for everyday Canadians.
Thank you very much. Kusmirchek.
Thank you, Craig. 36 years ago, my parents made an important choice, packing up their lives in 3 suitcases and immigrating to Canada. We fell in love with our new home and committed ourselves to serving our country. And that dedication to community led me to run for City Council. These last 6 years, I got to know residents and their issues, jobs, healthcare, flooding. And as City Councillor, I now see that the choice before us in this election is clear. On the one hand, we have a Liberal Party making investments in families and seniors and students to make life better and more affordable, standing up for manufacturing, investing in flood mitigation, affordable housing, and public transit. And on the other hand, we have Conservative politicians like Doug Ford and Andrew Scheer who want to take us back to the cuts and divisive politics of the Stephen Harper years. Just like my parents made a choice, so you have a choice to vote for a Liberal Party and a member of Parliament that will work hard for you, your family, and your community. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Leo Demars.
Hi, thanks for having me here. Well, while I'm not a career politician, I've been involved in family business all my life. And in my career as a business analyst, I worked with over 100 companies, primarily in the manufacturing sector. I hold a degree in business and economics, and yes, I know that budgets don't balance themselves. As an entrepreneur and a small business owner, I've created 25 permanent jobs in our community. I'm the only candidate that is focused on creating jobs and bringing a voice to our region. Over the summer, while they were taking their voters for granted, I was reaching out, listening to the concerns of the people as I knocked on thousands of doors. What voters are telling me is that they're afraid and they're concerned for their future. They're working hard and can't get ahead. They're upset with their Prime Minister. They're upset with their local lack of representation in Ottawa, and it's time for you to get ahead. That's what they told me. They want to vote for Leo Demars.
Thank you very much for your introductions. We start the first question with Cheryl Hardcastle. What will your party do for small and medium-sized businesses?
Well, first of all, we recognize in the big picture that it is small and medium-sized businesses that actually turn the gears of an economy. For a long time now, in Liberal and Conservative governments of the past, we've had this regulatory giant hand trying to turn this big gear. And we know that we have to focus on small businesses. That's why our New Deal for People does include creating over 300,000 new jobs, and that includes in the small business sector, and allowing small businesses and entrepreneurs to access funds for innovation. That means giving them navigators to help them support and get access to those funds, among countless other initiatives that we have. For instance, family businesses right now are facing dilemmas when they want to pass on the family business to someone in the family as a member of the family. We believe that they should not be having to pay tax for that. There are many supports that we could be doing.
Thank you so much. Giovanni Abadi.
We believe we support fully locally, local small businesses. We believe that large businesses aren't taxed enough, but we wouldn't increase taxes on small businesses. We support local farms, family farms. We have tax incentives for businesses to retrofit their businesses so they can save money on expenses. If people want to donate properties or lands to improve their business or startup. We have incentives for that. We also have training and skills training for people to further their education to start their own businesses. And we believe in a universal guaranteed living income that can help businesses thrive with sustainable wages.
Thank you very much. Eric Kusmiewicz.
Thank you, Craig. We know that small businesses are the engines of our economy here in Canada, and that's the reason why we are lowering the business tax from 11% to 9%. That is the lowest out of all G7 countries. We also know that our region here runs on exports. More trade equals more jobs, and it's better for business. And that's why the Liberal Party has been the champion of free trade, whether it's the new NAFTA agreement, whether it's the CETA agreement with the European Union, or whether it's the TPP, opening up new markets where business can go and get new customers and new clients. We also need to focus on building the talent pipeline in our region, and that's why this party has made investments to make university and college more affordable than ever for students to get the skills that they need. We also have programs in place, incentives to make sure that we're upskilling existing workers in manufacturing, and that's why our Liberal Party is a champion of small businesses and medium enterprises in this region and across Canada.
Thank you. Leo Demars.
Thank you. Well, as a small business owner, I'm the only one here who's actually created some jobs. I know what it's like to have to work hard to make sure you can meet payroll the next day. I know that there's 70% of the labor force is made up of small businesses. 1.2 million business owners are creating that engine, and I'm one of them. What I can tell you is that my biggest issues are running into the carbon tax, the escalating costs of energy. We have more than we can take in making regulations that are squelching us, and that's what the Conservative Party is going to do, is eliminate the carbon tax, make things more affordable, bring about regulations changes so that if we introduce a new regulation, two must have to go, so we can cut the red tape and open our doors for business.
Thank you very much. The next question begins with Giovanni Abadi. What do you think of the Canada-United States-Mexico agreement, and how will it affect the Windsor area?
Well, the Green Party believes in fair and sustainable trade. We work on developing a better trade agreement where we develop a federal auto and manufacturing strategy. The Greens would work with business, labor, and unions to create the automotive and manufacturing job strategy that keeps jobs in Canada. And we'd identify what percentage of Canadian parts are required in a vehicle or product for it to be sold in Canada. Green government investments would remain in Canada. If a company decided to leave Canada, any equipment purchased with Canadian tax dollars would remain here. Free trade needs to be fair trade, and Canada can't compete with low wages, no labor standards, and a lack of environmental laws. Greens want an even playing field. We would remove investor-state disputed settlements, which are provisions that give foreign corporations extraordinary powers to challenge the laws and policy of democratically elected countries, and we'd support supply management.
Thank you so much. Eric Kusmiewicz.
Thank you, Craig. So we know that trade is essential to Canada's economy and our region's economy. And again, our region runs on exports. More trade equals more jobs. It provides our manufacturers access to business, to new markets, new customers, and that's good for middle-class jobs. But don't take my word for it. This is a good deal. The Unifor National President, Jerry Diaz, came out in favor and support of this new NAFTA trade agreement, as did the employers, as did the manufacturers, whether it's FCA, whether it's Ford, whether it's companies like Centerline or Valiant. They all breathed a sigh of relief when we got that deal signed, which is why I was alarmed to hear this morning that the NDP will work to actually renegotiate or try to open up and renegotiate this deal. That creates a level of uncertainty that both workers and our manufacturers simply cannot risk at this point.
Thank you. Leo Demars.
Thank you. Yep, we were lucky to get this NAFTA deal done. They tripped over it and finally got the papers signed. We have a prime minister that has been embarrassing us, that has us on the outs with India, with China, with Great Britain, and Mr. Trump has been toying with our PMO since he came into power. There's no reason we should have arrested this person from Huawei. As a result, we have China angry at us instead of at the U.S., and we are suffering for it with our canola, with our steel tariffs that are still in place despite not being ratified. So we need a change. We need somebody that can be prepared and come to the table and negotiate our deals without embarrassing us on the world stage.
Thank you, Cheryl Hardcastle.
Thank you very much for the question. We in the NDP defend fair trade, and we have a comprehensive plan that looks at all components of trade. Labor agreements, environmental standards, labor standards are not to be side agreements. They need to be forefront in the plans. We're very concerned with what is known as the supply management issue, where we have farmers in this area who have purchased their quotas, they're paying mortgages on their quotas to provide safe and reliable food. This is called food sovereignty. In a country like Canada, we need to be thinking about that and protecting it better. That is also part of this trade agreement. The NDP is eager to be a part of a collaborative process, and when the new NAFTA, as it's called, is not being ratified because of certain glaring issues regarding fair trade, that means that we need to revisit it.
Thank you. This next question starts with Eric Kuzmierczak. Tell us your thoughts on national pharmacare.
Well, great question. I'm actually here with my parents here who are both retired. They're both on fixed income. And I can tell you that neither of them have benefits, which means they're paying for their prescriptions, their medicine right out of their own pockets. National pharmacare is the way to go. Folks like my parents and other seniors in this community desperately need little relief in terms of rising pharmaceutical costs, prescription costs, medicine costs. It's something that the Liberal Party has spent $1 billion to move towards, and it's one of the pillars of our plans when we are elected. It also is part of a bigger policy platform as well too, where we're also raising old age security. We're also raising the CPP to make life easier for seniors in our community, and also make life easier for families in our community so that they can afford prescription drugs, again, which are going up. So for that reason, I am all in favor, and the Liberal Party is all in favor of the National Pharmacare Program.
Thank you. Leo DeMars.
Thank you. With regard to pharmacare, the Conference Board of Canada states that 98% of Canadians have or qualify for a prescription drug plan. But some do struggle, and we are looking at many different issues and ways of correcting that. But what really gets me is that we have one of the best pharmacare providers in our community right here called Green Shield, and their plans would take and destroy that business that does it way more effectively, way more efficiently than any government-run business could do. And so what we need to do is we need to look at the obvious and proper way of doing things. We need to collaborate with our businesses and find ways of helping those who can't help themselves and working with those partners that we already have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cheryl Hardcastle.
Thank you. The issue of a national pharmacare plan has been studied to death by experts for decades. And we have reports that are sitting on shelves collecting dust while people are suffering. That is unacceptable. There has been inaction by the Liberal government, by the Conservatives before that. Even stop and think, we could have had purchasing power for the big three, I call them, cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure. No action by the government. Now we have an opportunity to put into plan the expertise that has been studied and shown us that this will be more efficient for our system. We are the only OECD nation with a universal health care plan that does not include pharmacare. Efficiencies, I mentioned this before. If we are going to use our government to serve people as it truly should, we have got to allocate our resources in a smart manner. Just like you have to run your business, I can make the case for pharmacare.
Thank you so much. Giovanni Abadi.
Hi, I also have an elderly mother who struggles paying her bills, her for prescriptions. The Green Party support the Parliamentary Committee on Health to expand the Canada Health Act to include pharmacare, which is the best way to accomplish both life-saving and cost-cutting goals. Would create a bulk drug purchasing agency and reduce drug patent protection periods. It's often difficult for people whether they can choose to pay their rent or their drugs, and this is a serious issue. So as well, when you can't choose that, if they're changing things to service fees, so you may not just be butchered by the pills, but you also get service fees that you have to pay from the pharmaceutical companies, the distributors like Shoppers, and a pharmacare plan would save all sorts of money where people won't be just poor on other expenses.
Thank you. This next question begins with Leo DeMars. How important is transparency and what would you do to improve government accountability?
Well, we all know that the Ethics Committee has found our current Prime Minister guilty of ethics violations twice, an unprecedented amount of times in history. So the Conservative government has a plan for creating an ethics, further ethics committee that we would disallow our ability to close off and hide investigations from the RCMP so that we would not be able to run from our mistakes. Being in business for my whole life, you can't run a business and be unethical. At some point you're caught. At some point you have to deal with your customers, your employees. You have to be able to look them in the eye and say, "This is who I am," and that's the kind of person you want to hire for your government.
Thank you very much. Cheryl Hardcastle.
Thank you very much. Well, the idea of transparency in government is something that should be a pillar and priority for our democracy. And unfortunately, we've seen in the last government that when you're powerful, there's a different set of rules for you. And unfortunately, with the Conservative government before that, there were cuts to investigative powers of committees that could have made sure that this was dealt with properly. So we would make sure that committees have in place investigative powers, such as the Justice Committee. We see that there should be a public inquiry specifically about the SNC-Lavalin affair, and there are many problematic issues. Everything that is transparent and accountable requires our bureaucracy to be a part of the team, and it requires resources to do it properly.
Thank you very much. Giovanni Abadi.
The Green Party would introduce integrity in government legislation, enact responsibility, integrity and honesty and intelligence, so the PMO's office ends corporate influence on ministers' office and federal boards. It would minimize the power of party whips and over individual members of parliament, protect the independence of parliamentary officers, including the Ombudsman, the Auditor General, and the Ethics Commissioner. The Access to Information Act would give individuals the right to access records under the control of the federal government, and Greens would scrap fees and require timely response, and cancel exemptions to limit access placed by the Prime Minister's office and ministers under the secrecy of government claims of government confidence. So we require public officials to document their actions and decisions for the Access to Information Act.
Thank you. Eric Kusmich.
Thank you, Craig. Transparency and accountability are absolutely important for me, and I'm the only city councillor in the city of Windsor that publishes their entire voting record online, and I've done that since day one. Because as a voter and as my boss, you ought to know exactly how I voted on every single issue and what I've been up to. And that's why I also believe that every member of Parliament ought to be able to point to one singular investment that they've been able to bring to this community and look the voters in the eye and say, this is what I've done for your community, these are the policies I've enacted, these are the investments that I've brought to your community, to make sure that residents know, get a sense of the return on their investments in their member of Parliament. The Liberal Party also asked the Parliamentary Budget Officer to fully cost every single platform, so you know what you're paying for, you know what you're getting. And I do believe that we ought to better use technology to better connect members of Parliament with their constituents so that they're in contact with them and they have a conversation and they know what the issues are and what the concerns are of residents.
Thank you very much. The next question starts with Cheryl Hardcastle. What is your party's stance on the carbon tax and on the targets set out by the Paris Agreement?
We respect the Paris Agreement, and we know that we need to work aggressively to get there, and we need to have carbon pricing. I think it's unfortunate that the way that this is rolled out as a partisan gamesmanship about an issue such as the climate crisis, that it has been reduced to that. You're going to hear a lot. There's a lot of talk about a carbon tax and carbon pricing. I want to bring you back, as business people, respectfully, to the idea that you need to have a line item. You need to have a budget item for carbon, for pollution. We need big polluters to pay, and we need to have that line item in the budget. We've had a false economy in the past when we did not price this. Think of acid rain. We solved acid rain when we put a price on the sulfur.
Thank you very much. Giovanni Abadi.
The Green Party supports the carbon tax. It does its job in reducing, it changes people's activities by if people drive in further locations, they try to take bikes and change their they work on active transportation and public transit as opposed to driving everywhere. We also give tax incentives and direct grants with zero interest loans, saving well, we agree with the carbon tax in the sense that it does change people's attitudes and activities to save money for themselves. And
Thank you. Eric Guzmiche.
Craig. Residents in Windsor-Tecumseh know that climate change is real. 2 catastrophic floods, high lake levels that are putting all of our homes at danger at this moment. We know the Liberal Party has a real plan to address climate change. How many more floods is it going to take before the Conservative Party actually comes up with a plan? That's the question that I would have for Mr. Andrew Scheer. We will put a price on pollution. This is important. Why should Canadians, why should our children and grandchildren pay the price of pollution? Whether it comes in climate change, whether it comes to asthma, we have one of the highest rates of asthma in the country, or whether it comes to cancer rates. The polluters must pay, and we are committed. The Liberal Party is committed to making sure that the polluters pay. The Liberal Party also has a fantastic program in terms of planting 2 billion trees as well across Canada within the next 10 years. $40,000 interest-free loans for renovations that make home energies efficient as well too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Leo DeMars.
Thanks. All liberals are all talk and no action. The carbon tax is a revenue tool. The Conservative Party wants to lower emissions, not impoverish Canadians. The carbon tax does not actually do anything to reduce carbon emissions. It simply strangleholds those who have the least control over their ability to control those emissions. For example, as a small business, I can't open my doors at 2 in the morning and say, come on in at that time and I'll cut your hair. It just doesn't work. We have to open up our doors when we do, and we're the ones who are being forced to pay the bill. The big ones are not being, they're getting sweetheart deals, the big polluters, and they're the ones who aren't paying a penny. The Conservative Party is going to have a cap, a hard cap, and no trade, and we're not going to impoverish our individuals in order to save our country.
Thank you very much. The final question begins with Giovanni Abadi. What is your stand on immigration and how has it affected the Windsor area?
well, unless you're a First Nation, Métis, or Inuit, we're all immigrants. My parents and brother immigrated here from Italy in the 60s. And other than our forefathers that created the discriminatory regulations of colonialism, even out before mothers as they were discriminated against as well, I believe our immigration policies have worked rather well. Biodiversity, safe, clean, vibrant communities of all races thrive, especially here in Windsor. I believe that the foreign worker program needs to allow the workers to have their process sped up. If they're able to work here, then they're good enough to live here. the Safe Third Country Agreement between Canada and the U.S. as part of the U.S.-Canada Smart Border Action Plan. And I think we should speed up the process to allow refugees to become citizens quicker.
And thank you very much. Eric Kusmerchik.
Thank you, Craig. Canada's story is the story of immigration, and that's also my family's story. And together, new Canadians work to help grow the economy. They help to create jobs, and they help to build our strong communities. They bring their talents here. They bring their dreams and hopes. And these are the same dreams and hopes that all Canadians have for themselves, for their families, for their children. Canada, under the Liberal government, brought in 321,000 immigrants, which was the most since the Second World War. And we will increase that number to 350,000 by 2021. One of the things I'd like to work on, I'd like to advocate for, is that we improve credential recognition so that the folks that are coming here with their talents, that have worked hard to get their education, have skills to help our communities, we want to make sure that their credentials are recognized so that they can help us build our communities, help us build our economy, and build a more prosperous Windsor-Essex.
Thank you, Leo Demars.
Thank you.
A Conservative government will work immediately to restore families and fairness and order and compassion to our immigration system. We will safeguard and emphasize economic immigration, stand up for families and ensure that spouses and children can be reunited, improve language training and to ensure greater proficiency in English and French and newcomers' ability to succeed economically and socially, improve credential recognition and make it easier for new Canadians who have existing skills that meet our standards of work here. We all lose out when doctors and engineers can't perform jobs here that they should be qualified to do. We're going to ensure that our system prioritizes people facing true persecution, focus government sponsorship on the victims of the 4 atrocity crimes, and restore integrity to our system by supporting the consistent application of fair rules. We're going to work to reunite survivors of genocide who've already resettled in Canada more expeditiously.
Thank you so much. Cheryl Hardcastle.
Thank you very much. One of my portfolios that I had the privilege of serving is being a vice chair of international human rights. And it gave me some keen insight about the role that Canada plays, as well as knowing that we have a vibrant business community here in Windsor that identifies and sees the merits of needing immigrants with specific talents, workforce. We need the resources to do this. I'm glad to hear that the Conservatives are committing to restoring some of the dangerous cuts that they made to immigration and refugee system in the past, and that the Liberals have failed to adequately restore. We have a system here that is second to none. It needs the proper resources, and our businesses require our immigrants, as do our pensioners.
Thank you very much. We now provide 1-minute closing statements, beginning with Eric Kusmerchik.
Thank you, Craig. For the last 6 years, I've been a city councillor in Windsor. I understand the real challenges this community is facing, as well as the opportunities to bring real investments to modernize the region. The Liberal Party's focus is on investing in people and making life easier for families and seniors and students to build a better future for themselves. We've made incredible progress. Our economy is the strongest it's been in 40 years. And in the last 4 years, we have created 1 million jobs. And as your member of Parliament, I promise to continue to stand up for the auto industry and auto workers, advocate for funding to protect homes from flooding, help young people get the skills and education that they need, and make sure we strengthen our health care. It is high time that the residents of Windsor Tecumseh have a strong voice in Ottawa and a member of Parliament that will work hard for you, your family, and your community. My name is Eric Kusmerchik, and I ask for your vote on October 21st.
Thank you very much. Leo Demars.
Thank you. 4 years ago, the voters elected a government and prime minister that was not as advertised. They promised a balanced budget. Instead, we are burdened with a total debt of $705 billion. This debt cannot be the legacy that we pass on to our youth to have to deal with. We need to be afraid of the future for us Canadians. We need to elect a government that will put Canadian first so that we can get ahead. A conservative government that would eliminate the carbon tax, eliminate GST from our gas and electric bills, provide a universal tax cut, make home ownership more affordable and accessible for everyone, allow small businesses to operate with less red tape. Voters don't have to be voiceless with the NDP. They don't have to give support to a Liberal government under Trudeau that is fiscally reckless and can't be trusted. By voting for me, Leo DeMars, you're ensuring that we'll have a strong local voice, fighting to bring crucial investment dollars to Windsor Tecumseh. I promise to work hard for you and to always be accessible.
Thank you so much, Cheryl Hardcastle.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank the veterans of our country who fought for the democracy, the freedom, and the liberty that we enjoy today. And those are the same people who are very insulted when they have heard the suggestion that there are only certain people who can be your voice in government under a democracy that we have. I'm a hardworking representative, and fundamentally, the NDP is talking about in our platform about reallocating money that right now is going to corporate back rooms with no stipulation. We can be helping students, we can be helping seniors, we can be helping Canadians with good jobs, we can be helping business owners. The answer is how we prioritize. And how your local representative stands up and champions you and is able to work collaboratively is priceless. And so yes, I am proud that I am able to do that for you. With an NDP platform, we can do even more.
Thank you so much, Giovanni Abadi.
Hi, my name is Giovanni, and as the Green Party candidate, I'd like to represent you as the MP for Windsor Tecumseh. This election will be about choices, and with a predicted minority government, this is the perfect time to elect a candidate that will keep the House of Commons' feet to the fire with everyday decisions, making sure they realize that a prosperous economy and a healthy environment support each other. Each work to benefit the other. I have worked with local businesses and politicians to attract new businesses. Our border location and transportation options make us a prime location. I promote a robust agricultural sector, finding new food products to grow as well as attracting the hemp industry. My background is planning and geography, and this would aid my understanding of the infrastructure needs of our community. Whether roads, flood protection, high-speed internet, or greater energy requirements of our rural areas, I would work hard at fulfilling these needs. So on October 21st, give the Green Party the opportunity to provide our community with all it needs for now and into the future.
Thank you, and thank you all so much for sharing your ideas. As the Windsor Tecumseh candidates leave, I'd like to ask the Windsor West candidates to come up, and I'd like to go back one more time to see your TVs, John Ferry and Chris Vanderbilt.
For all 5 people, it's like wasting all my time. I think it's still on. No, I just want to plug into my phone. Oh, I see. All right.
The only good iPhone is a dead iPhone. Oh man,
What a pain.
are we having fun yet?
Today that I need to get back in there and get to Ottawa because Windsor West needs that voice. And I'm prepared to do that, and I'm excited about the opportunity that I can join the crowd that for the last 8 years benefited our community in spades. Thank you.
Quinn Hunt.
We must recognize today that this debate, just as every other debate across Canada, is taking place on the territories traditionally occupied by the First Nations of Canada. September 27th, 2019 is a day that will go down in history. Millions across the world walked out of work and school demanding not higher wages, not safer workplaces, but action on the climate crisis. Nearly 1 in 35 Canadians said to the established parties, "You are not doing enough. You are abandoning us, your children." We want change. We are ready for change. We need leaders who are looking to the future and not to be re-elected. The Green Party is the party of change, the party of the people, the party of Canada.
Thank you, Brian Massey.
Shana Tova for our Jewish community who is celebrating today. Good afternoon, my name is Brian Massey. I'm your NDP candidate, and I've been your member of parliament for the past 17 years. It's great to be here, and thank you for the Chamber for being a partner over those years and also hosting this debate. I also want to thank the people in this room and the larger Windsor community for working alongside me all these years. Together we've taken on big issues, come up with solutions, and seen them through. The best part of my job is talking to constituents, and even after 17 years, I can assure you that I'm always listening and learning from this community. Most of my bills and policies come directly from you. It's because of you that we legislated the ban of microplastics and passed a polluter pay law to stop toxins in our environment. It's thanks to your suggestions that we created a telecom bill of rights, and thanks to you as well, we pushed for legislation to protect consumers from predatory practices and fraudsters. It's with you in mind that I fought so hard to secure 50% federal funding for the Herb Great Parkway and secured the Gordie Howe Bridge, a federally funded, publicly owned crossing that I fought for during my first campaign, who some call a pipe dream.
Thank you so much. Henry Lau.
Good afternoon, I'm Henry Lau. Thank you so much for the invitation so that I can share my vision with you as your future member of parliament. This election is not about the candidates, but the future of Windsor in our country. There are many issues facing people in Windsor. Our number one priority is to have our local MP bring our local concerns and requests to the federal government in order to get the answer we all deserve. 17 years of NDP in Windsor is far too long. We need to be truly represented at the federal level. We need more support and funding from our federal government right here in Windsor community. Windsor needs change. We all need change. It's time for you to get ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We begin the questions with Sandra Kupatel. How would you help ensure the auto industry remains vibrant in this region?
I hope many people will know my history with the automotive industry. I spent 6 of my 8 years as a cabinet minister as the Minister for Industry and Trade, and that meant key relationship building. So when we needed to know people and pick up the phone, we could do that. The Essex engine plant is a good example. We developed that kind of funding to save that plant in Windsor. And people here who benefit from those jobs know that our government having access and that kind of voice made all the difference at that time. And likewise, Chrysler Canada, when we needed to save this company, we came through in spades. Had we not had government members here at the time, Windsor would have been a ghost town. And the people in this room appreciate it, whether it's traversing every day across the border because of the products that we make, it's critical to us. I'm going to stand on my record of delivering for the automotive industry and understanding the skills that our industry needs we develop right here with a new engineering school.
Gwen Hunt.
I worked for 4 years as a TPT at Chrysler in Windsor in order to put myself through my undergraduate degree, so I do not say this lightly. The big three are in the process of abandoning us. We cannot rely on the same companies that are cutting our jobs in order to move to Mexico or to bring in robots. The only big three assembly plant that is left is Chrysler. They're about to lay off just about 1,700 people. 1,700 of my friends and coworkers. We can't rely on them. We need to, yes, support them if they wish to stay, work with them, but we cannot bend over backwards and give them tax breaks and unlimited tax credits in order to stay. We need to bring in new investment, develop new industries, and look to the future, not the past.
Thank you, Brian Massey.
When the Conservatives said that they weren't going to pick winners or losers for the auto industry, I was on the first one in the front line to defend the auto industry to ensure it got the investments and the loans necessary. In fact, to this day, we still have a problem with the federal Liberals cutting $300 million out of the Automotive Innovation Fund, which was very important to have a sectorial strategy that was separate. It was amazing to see the Prime Minister come down here and tour a plant that I worked in, Plant 3 and Plant 6, and be on the same line as me, and mere months later leave the Chrysler Pacifica out of an incentive program that offered $300 million for vehicles made overseas, but not for our own homegrown Pacifica. That has to be changed, and we've offered an incentive program of up to $15,000 per vehicle to keep the third shift going and to make sure we're going to have the investment that's necessary. As well, too, we have to do more work with regards to the Detroit investments. It's an economic opportunity for us. They're getting $14 billion of investment. We should go on the offense, not the defense. That's a losing strategy that we've had, and we've seen the results.
Thank you. Henry Lau.
As a business owner in manufacturing, doing more business for many years, I understand how to work with the government to keep the investment right here in Windsor. Windsor is my hometown. I cannot speak anywhere but my hometown. Windsor is a place we need more government support, more funding, and we need a seat at the government table to speak for our issues. Our problem, our issue, we do not have a seat at the government table. We have to change that.
Thank you very much. The next question begins with Quinn Hunt. What do you think of Canada's relationship with U.S. President Donald Trump, and what should be done to improve it, if anything?
So that's an interesting question. I mean, I think that we're all pretty much on the same page in terms of who Donald Trump is. What we really need to realize is that we cannot continue to rely on the United States to have a stable leader and a stable government. We do just about 47% of our trade with the United States. That means that we are significantly vulnerable to